Hello, and welcome to Green Dragon, a monthly show where we talk about green initiatives in Maryland and Howard County, ongoing sustainability efforts at Howard Community College, and ideas and ways for you to be more sustainable at home. I'm Bob Marietta, HCC's Environmental Health and Safety Supervisor, and I thank you for being with me today. Today, my guest is Leah Apera, the president of Howard Community College's Student Environmental Club. So we're pleased to have you with us today. Leah, why did you decide to focus on the sustainability part of environmental science?
I've always loved like nature and stuff like that, but sustainability in like general is because prevention is better than cure. That's what I like to say. That's what I tell everyone. It's like if you have a flu, you're not gonna wait till you have a flu before go out and get medicine. That's why you have flu shots and whatnot. So when stuff is already going bad with the environment, we already see it happening. It's always better to just like find solutions to prevent more like damage than wait for all the damage to happen and then find like a solution for the damage. So I think sustainability is kind of like a prevention, a way to work like against what's already happening and stuff like that. So that's why I think it's pretty
I think
important to.
that's a great way to think about it. I'm going to steal some of that for some of my talks. Now, Leah, many people assume that sustainability is only about environmental science. What else do you think they should be aware of?
Uh, it's not just a science thing. The sustainability aspect of environmental science can play into anything if you think about it, like into medicine, into architecture, into business, whatever you like. Even people who work in like different parts of the world or have different majors, they always think, oh, I'm not a science major, or I don't know too much of the environment, so I don't think I can help. But little do people know, like whatever you are doing at the moment, you can always add some type of sustainable way to improve it. You can always make it better. Like the architecture, for example, if you use different supplies that's more sustainable, if you use different methods that's more sustainable, or medicine, the way you get products for those medicines, like the things they use for those medicines, like you know how they get them, you can make them more sustainable, like using less. They use crude oil and all that stuff to get minerals from the earth. Like, just there's always a way to make things more sustainable. And you don't have to be in environmental science or any type of science to be sustainable.
Good said. The college's Green Committee is nowadays focusing on the United Nations 17 goals for sustainable development. Can you tell us a little bit about these goals?
I think that these goals are things that we're working towards as a society to achieve, and they're things that can help the environment in a way, because without, like, first on the list is poverty. For example, people in poverty usually, they're poor, they don't have enough money. So if you go to a grocery store and you see a plastic plate, a set of plastic plates that's like $1 or something, and there's a more alternative option that's like $10. Obviously, because of a person in the poverty, they would obviously alternative for the cheaper option. So if we help people in poverty, they'll always be more educated and go for the better option. There's the fight for zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, which is key right now, because the reason most of us don't know about climate change and all that stuff is because people aren't educated on that stuff. So if you are educated in general, some of that stuff is gonna leak into it. So yeah, and gender equality, clean water, affordable, clean energy, decent work, and reduced inequality, sustainable cities, all that stuff is things that we should work towards as a community, as a nation, as a world. That's why I think that the 17 things that the 90 Nation have right now, I think it's great. And I think it would help us work towards a better society.
Yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive list of things we need to work on, and so I appreciate your take on them. As you look towards your future career, how do you and other college students react when you see all of the areas in the nations across the world that we need to focus on? What do you think?
It's a lot, honestly. It's a lot, especially for our generation. I feel like most of the stuff is like we're the ones dealing with it. We didn't start it, but we have to be the ones to. We're the older generation right now, so not older, but like the older generation. But so we're kind of in charge, and we have to make things a lot more like easier for the people that are gonna come after us. So it is a lot because as of right now, a lot of natural disasters are like starting to occur more often and stuff like that, like in India with the floods and all that stuff. So it's a lot of pressure. And I think a lot of people's reactions right now, they're not taking it as seriously as we would want them to. People see it online and they're like, oh my God, I feel bad for them. There's floods. But eventually it's going to bite all of us in the back. Like we're in November and it's like almost 70 degrees. Like it's going to happen all over. So I think that so far, some of our students' generation, they're handling it pretty decently.
Yeah, I've got a lot of faith in people like you and the students I see here on campus. So I think we're in good hands. So what interests you personally the most in all of these parts of sustainability? Have you got one of the 17 that's your favorite?
Okay, so sustainable cities and communities, that's probably my favorite one on the list, number 11. The reason why I chose that because like I've heard of the line that's happening somewhere in an Arab country. I think it's Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure, but there's a recent construction for a line that's going to be done in like 20, probably 2040 something, and it's just basically a line. I don't know, but it's supposed to be like a zero waste. It's for living, of course, for people to you know live in there. So zero waste. I believe it's all renewable energy, like no carbon footprints. Apparent. That's what their goal is, at least. So I think like when people see stuff like that, they're like it helps them realize like we are in a climate like crisis, and the fact that people higher up are willing to start something to help, I feel like that makes people more inclined to follow in that footsteps. Like when you see houses that are being built with better resources, like more renewable resources, or you see people carpooling, or you see people buying less cars and going on public transport, people changing stuff in their houses and switching to better options, like just building a sustainable community and encouraging people. I think that's a good way for to spread it. That's probably my favorite one on the list.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're starting to figure out where your career is going to be. Uh,
Yeah.
can you tell me about a Can you tell me about a sustainability project that you have personally worked on lately?
Mm. I would say probably stuff with the club. Like we wanted to do like personally on my own. I have on my social media. I have a link tree I created like earlier this year or around last year. It's a link tree. If people click on it, I have a good amount of research. I'm still working on it to add more stuff on there, but people click on it. There's ways for you to educate yourself about climate change, climate crisis, sustainabilities, and I know now with people my age, they just want the easy way out. So I put a couple of links for things that is like an alternative, like a direct alternative. Like instead of buying a water bottle, buy like a plastic bottle. I mean, buy a water bottle that you can fill up every morning, or instead of buying a plastic fork or spoon, just buy some metal stainless stainless steel or you buy a wooden one or something. So that's one thing that I worked on, and that's just for like my everyday life because like anyone who goes on my social media will just see that. But personally, I'm just trying more to because you know you have to practice what you preach basically. So it's not that easy growing up in a Nigerian household, but it's something I'm trying to work on. And also with the club, like with the whole plastic bracelets, most of those plastic bracelets that we use for the club were mostly from my house. My mom keeps a whole bunch of them. I just grabbed them and brought them to school, and and yeah, just stuff like that, just little things, nothing major, just
That's great. So, how do you think growing up in Nigeria, okay, has influenced your choice of your future career?
It influenced it a lot because when I grew up there, like I said, I've always been interested in nature. Before, I wanted to go towards more like conservation, like animal wise. Like I used to love like Nat Geo Wild and stuff when I was little. So I grew up watching those things. But in that country, you wouldn't go out and tell anyone. Like my major is environmental science because it would not get you anywhere. I don't even think they might have it, but the amount of people in those classes are probably zero, you know? So it's not a good path over there. But once I moved over here, I knew that it was something I had to pursue and I had to follow. So because I was given this opportunity of being put in this country, so why not? I just like yeah.
That's great. And under your leadership, the HCC Environmental Club is off to a good start this year. What type of students are participating with you this year?
All types of students. To my surprise, we have a good amount of students that are probably never even recycled something before. They probably just threw something in the recycling bin, but don't even know what's like happening to it or something. We had a few discussions, like we got to know each other during meetings, and a lot of people were like business majors or like nursing majors or just majors that have not that much like to do with the environment, but they just wanted to be there because it seemed fun. We marketed the club as a fun thing, so I guess that's why they showed up. But yeah, we have all kinds of students there, and it's good to see that there are people who actually are interested, even if they don't want to like fully put themselves in there. Like just they're still surface level like engaged and just want to know like general knowledge about it.
So, how many members do you have this year?
Ooh, how many members? I think we have about probably 15. But
Wow.
active maybe 10, like 10 active that come to the meetings and do the activities and stuff.
What sort of things do you think they're interested in doing for sustainability while they're here at Howard Community College?
One thing I notice is people like to do more things that lean towards creativity. So if we ask them to like write something, they'll probably lose interest. But when we had like the bracelet making, in there we just played some music, had some cookies, and everyone was chatting up, making bracelets and bonding and all that stuff. So I think people they really like that, like engaging. They like to do activities that would make them engage with the people around them. Or like when we went to the garden and stuff like that. They had fun talking to everyone and also seeing the result of what they did. I guess that's also something because when we worked at the garden, everyone saw what they did and they loved it. Same with the bracelets. Some people took them home. Some people showed their friends. So I guess that those kind of things that they like.
As a club, have they set any sustainability goals, or do you have any goals for the club to accomplish?
Yeah, our goals were just to just to engage students, just to get more students interested in sustainability and the environment. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, you have to be a pro at it. We just wanted to educate people. Even it doesn't matter how much we educate, like any little thing is, it goes a long way. So we just want to let people know, like, we are in a climate crisis. Everyone's trying to do something to help. The school is trying to do something to help, and this club is here to also let you know that you can do something to help. And you know, any little thing you do, it counts. All of it counts, and just to also educate you on why you should help and ways that you can help, and stuff like that.
Recently, the college held its 15th annual Sustainability Day event. I know you and the club participated, but what did you think of the event? And what do you think we could do differently next year?
This the event was pretty. It was pretty nice. The fact that we were able to, us as a club were able to also participate in it. This year it was kind of pretty slow, but I think maybe because of the timing of it. Like most of the people coming, it was just like a wave, people leaving class, and like but I think part of it is just a lot of people didn't know, like they didn't know a whole much about it. So people would come out and be like, "Oh, what is this? What's going on?" And we had to tell them, "Oh, today's Sustainability Day." Some people didn't even know that there's such a thing as Sustainability Day. We had to explain that to them, explain what it is and how it works, what we're doing. So yeah, but this year's was good. I wasn't here for last year. I don't think so I can't, I don't have anything to compare it to, but I think we could definitely do more. Maybe like even involve the SGA. They can help us advertise it on their social media. Maybe we can involve other clubs in it for the next time. So even clubs that have nothing to do with environmental science, I always thought that that was a good idea, just to get them in on it and see what they can contribute, and like it, just to get the word out. And the more widespread it is, the more people will engage.
Those sound like great ideas. For those that don't know, sustainability comes 6 months after Earth Day, which is always on April 22nd. And in the past years, the Environmental Club has held a dumpster dive on the quad on Earth Day. Now, with Earth Day coming on a Saturday this year, have you all made any plans for what you're going to do for this year's dumpster dive?
Yes, we've talked about it. I let them know that we do have a dumpster dive on Earth Day. Some people were a bit shocked, when you hear the word dumpster and diving right next to each other. They're like, "Oh my God, what are we doing?" I'm like, it's chill. We're just sorting out some trash. It's not gonna make you messy. We're just gonna help make it easier for the people that do the bigger work. Like that's basically it. Like we're just sorting trash. And we I did tell the whole club about it, and people did seem to want to engage. But because it's next year, I don't have any solid like volunteers. We just let people know about it, and I also let the club executives know about it. So yeah.
Okay, something to look forward to. Okay. Now, every year the college hosts Howard County's Earth Day celebration that's called Green Fest. And this year it will be on Tax Day, Saturday, April 15th. And the activities will be in the Science, Engineering, and Technology Building, SET, and in the parking lots. Do you think the club will want to participate in that?
Yeah, of course, I think the club would want to participate, especially because I was at the last one, and it was pretty crowded. It was pretty fun. We had the animals and stuff like that. So I think if we like tell people in a way that would make them interested, because we are dealing with like teenagers and people in their early 20s. It's hard to grasp their attention sometimes. So I feel like if we like tell them in a nice way, like, this is what we're gonna do. We have all these activities. You can buy plants. You can do this. They're gonna be food trucks, especially the food draws them in. telling you. So we do all that stuff. I People will engage if we just like lay it out to them in the right way and try to grab their attention. But as a club, we are planning on like um, making, we're probably working with the SGA to maybe have a post out there for us and tell them the activities that's gonna happen and you know.
Okay. Well, I know that the staff here at the college can earn what are called professional development credits by participating in things like Sustainability Day and Green Fest. And many faculty members already give their students extra credit for attending these events. But can you think of anything else we might do that would really interest the students in participating?
The extra credits is a really good idea. Some people are they're struggling right now, especially with their grades. They could use some extra credit. But for as a club, um, maybe handing out gifts and stuff like that. That usually attracts people, or just there's really not much because I feel like if someone just isn't interested, they're just not gonna show up. So we just had to find a way to grasp their interest, which is why I said just lay out things that would seem to interest them, like the snacks, the food trucks, the plants, the animals, or just kind of throw it at them like this is what is going to be there and this is what we're going to have. This is what you can benefit from it. This is what you can learn. There are going to be tables with prizes. You're going to, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could do. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can gain. So that's a good way to try to get them to show up.
Yeah, I think we'll follow through on those ideas. Um, HCC has taken many steps to become more sustainable, like measuring our greenhouse gas footprint, recycling and composting. And we've also got a goal to be climate neutral by 2050. If the college was to make any new commitments to be more sustainable, what do you think it should focus on?
Mm. I think the college should focus on not just the college alone, but like the students, because most of the commitments that they have right now is to like kind of uphold their name. But apart from the club and like people like you, staff like you, there's really nothing much that engages the students. We have the recycling can in the cafe and we have the posters, but sometimes I feel like it's not enough because people it takes a lot of effort to try to get people to convince people to do something that they probably don't care about. But I think that's something that the school needs to like implement into their um, method is like just engaging the students more, maybe having more activities that create knowledge about climate crisis. If they have to talk to the SGA or the student life, that would be good because the student life knows how to reach the students. So I think more student engagement is what HCC needs in terms of sustainability.
Wonderful ideas. Okay. Well, I think we have reached the end of our show. And thank you, Leah, for joining me. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you care to pass along?
Um, I said pretty much all I can. I just said um, prevention is better than cure. That's it. That phrase works for pretty much anything. And now in the state that we are on this planet, we need the prevention. We can't wait for things to get worse and then try to find a cure for it. So I oblige everyone. If you think there's anything you can do to help, even if it's the tiniest thing in your house, maybe turning off your tap when you're done brushing, or turning off your light switches, or taking the bus once in a while, walking, cycling. um, get a bag so you don't have to use the Walmart plastic bags, or anything, just know that any small action you do is a step forward. There's never an action that's right, that's a step backward. No matter how tiny it is, it's going to be a step forward. So I just hope to share that with everyone. Like, everyone, just do your best. You know, we all live on this planet. We're all residents of this earth. So we should do our best to take care of it as much as we can.
Thank you, Leah, for joining me and for all the work you and the Environmental Club do to help raise awareness about sustainability. Now, I'll be back next month with another guest and another sustainable topic. In the meantime, if you have any ideas or comments, you can connect with me at rmarietta@howardcc.edu. You can listen to this and all of our other episodes at dragondigitalradio.podbeam.com. And you can also catch us on HCC TV and Howard Community College's YouTube webpage. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and let others know to join us and help us take care of our world, because every small step each of us takes can have a great impact when we walk together. Thank you all.